Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and you're watching some Battlefield 3 gameplay, and this is of course going to be a Battlefield 3 commentary, and it actually feels very, very good to be doing another Battlefield 3 commentary because I realize, my channel has slowly become, a Battlefield channel. Like I try to keep it as diverse as possible, but a big chunk of my channel has been Battlefield, and so it's like a part of my channel was missing. It just was there was a void in the soul of my channel, and because of the commentary of the Tuesdays with Tony that I did on Tuesday, I really wanted to make sure to get a commentary or two out this week and into the next week that focus on Battlefield and not necessarily Battlefield 4. Although this conversation will be kind of Battlefield 4-ish to a certain extent, but not really. It's just some observations that I've made now while going from a heavy PS3 player to a PC player, and I never really did sort of a transition video. My thoughts about the two different platforms and how the game plays and stuff like that. But because of because of Tuesdays with Tony, I've been playing a little bit more Battlefield, trying to play probably every other day or so, play a couple of hours, just to kind of get back into it. Plus, because as we all know, the Battlefield 4 beta is coming up really quickly. I believe it'll be, September-ish, thereabouts. We'll get the Battlefield 4 beta, and I will be playing that on the PS3 because I had pre-ordered Medal of Honor on the PS3. So I don't think there's any way I'm going to be playing it on the PS4. The PC. Just because I don't own, Medal of Honor Warfighter on PC. So let's get right into it. Basically, what I've noticed is that size matters for player count, and there seems to be, for me, and I think this will be a different answer for each individual person. So I can't say that there's any one Goldilocks, the golden zone for player counts. But the more I play on PC, the more I realize I prefer smaller player counts. Now it also depends on the map itself, because a lot of the vanilla maps I think play perfectly with 12 players. Some of the gameplay that you've seen before, you've seen some 64-man op Metro. That's ridiculous and a half. The game is already, when you're playing Conquest or Rush, it's already hard enough when it's 24 players. When it's 64, it's impossible. It's just like whoever takes B and can hold B will just rape face. That's really what it amounts to. So for me, I think the Goldilocks zone, I would say, depending on the map though, but a vast majority of the vanilla maps, 24 players seems to work out pretty good. I think 36, I'm actually going to say, for me, 36 is going to be the Goldilocks zone. I think that's probably the best player count to size ratio that I can find. And like I said, it's something that I'm just really noticing now while I'm playing on PC, because everyone, in the PC world, everyone talks about how, we can play with 64 players, we've got larger player counts, and that means that we're better and badass and stuff. And I find the larger player counts to be nothing but a point of frustration, because there is no rhyme or reason why people are certain places. It's just like it's like a bottleneck somewhere else. And so if you've got 30 people in one area, and you want to flank, there's nowhere else for them to go, but they just sort of gravitate towards the other part of the map that's really, unoccupied. And so when you're trying to be sneaky and making a flank, suddenly you run into 15 guys. You're just like, what are you doing here? The main fight is over there. So it really is just, it's a war of attrition, basically, what ends up happening. But it's just sort of, it grinds on my last nerve. For me, Battlefield has always been that game where you can outsmart your opponents, where if you can get one side distracted, you can flank around and eliminate them from the backside, and you feel great. You feel good for that sort of teamwork. But when it's a 64-man or a 48-man, was it 48? Yeah, 64 and 48, it's just a clusterfuck and a half, and it's really obnoxious to play. So I'm thinking now for the PS4, if they do increase the player count, it would be nice if they jump to 36. 36 would be a good jump. I don't want to see any more players than 36 on console. It's just, for me, it's a nightmare. And so what I want to ask you guys is, what player count do you think is the best player count? Now, before I get too far, because some of the DLC like Armored Kill and Aftermath to a certain extent have fairly large maps. Armored Kill especially that is a game mode that really probably requires 64 players. I mean, those are huge maps. In console, they're ridiculously huge. They're just way too big. And close quarters, for me, plays best with 16. Any more than 16, and it's retarded. It's just like, oh, this is like 24 players on close quarters maps is insanity. 64 players is nuts to butts insanity. You know, there's no room for anyone to move about. So really, like I said at the beginning of the commentary, it depends on your personal flavor, and it really depends on the DLC as well. But I'm strictly talking about the vanilla maps because, as we've seen this with Battlefield 3, DICE is going to come out with DLC that varies from DLC to DLC to help give, you know, the game a different flavor instead of one continuous same game, different maps thing. So I appreciate the innovation that EA and DICE, DICE specifically puts forward. So you know we're going to see that in Battlefield 4, and it makes me wonder, like I said a couple times already, what do you think the Goldilocks player count should be for the next generation consoles? And we already know the PC is going to have, you know, probably 64 player servers and all that great jazz, and I'm going to do my best to avoid those like the plague. But I know there's going to be a significant number of people who do pick up PS4s and who will pick up Battlefield 4 on the PS4. So it would be nice to see, like I said, what I believe to be the Goldilocks Zone. So in the comment section below, let me know. Let me know, especially if you're a console player, or actually, you know, if you're a PC player as well. Let me know if you think that is 48 and 64, are those like just too big to play on? You know, like I said, it depends on the map though. But I mean, let's talk about let's say like the vanilla maps. We'll sort of put this around the vanilla maps for right now. And you know, what player count do you think fits broadly the most maps? And I'm gonna say, like I said, 36. 24 actually works really well most of the time. Some maps, maybe like Scene Crossing, 36 actually might be an improvement just because there are areas that get really dead because the map is kind of big. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you guys later.
You're welcome.
Yeah. GG's.
Only one
Knifing is just broke.
Knifing is broke as shit. I'm
Yeah.
gonna disagree with
Big
that.
time.